After 10 years of love, my boyfriend held a lavish wedding for my best friend, battling cancer behind my back. Her dying wish was to marry him, and because of her illness, everyone went along with it. Eric blocked all messages, making sure I never heard a word. What he didn't know was that my best friend was live streaming the entire event. That night, I cried until I fainted. Eric spent the night on the island with her, the day my heart condition relapsed. He abandoned me to take her to the hospital. I almost didn't make it. So, when the powerful billionaire Michael proposed, I said yes. Lily, are you really willing to marry me? He asked gently. After I agreed, he messaged me every few minutes just to confirm. When I finally responded, he sent over a dozen diamond ring styles for me to choose from. These are all from the auction, he said. Take your time. Pick the one you like. When I didn't reply, he followed up seconds later. If none of these speak to you, there's a jewelry auction in England soon. I'll take you there myself. I studied the photos carefully, then sent a voice message back. The graph pink diamond looks pretty good. Let's make that the wedding ring. Eric didn't know when to come back, but just as I was behind him, I heard the words wedding ring and suddenly spoke up. Wedding ring? What wedding ring? He looked at me, and on his usually cold and composed face, a rare hint of panic appeared. I met his gaze lightly just as I was about to come up with an excuse to brush it off. But at that moment, my phone rang. I picked it up and saw that it was a call from my best friend, Emma. After answering the call, her sobbing came through the phone. Lily, is Eric by your side? I just had another nosebleed. I'm so scared. Before I could say anything, the phone was snatched away by Eric. He spoke anxiously. Emma, don't be afraid. I'm on my way right now. Then Eric left me behind and ran out. I completely forgot that he had asked me to go night cruising on the Pearl River tonight. So, saying he wanted to make up for the missing 10th anniversary of our love. It turns out that giving up on someone feels like this. Even watching him run towards another woman, my heart can no longer stir with any waves. The phone rang again. This time it was Michael calling. Lily, are you ready? I'm coming to need him to pick you up tomorrow. I gazed into the distance, my eyes deep and contemplative. In a week, once I take care of everything that needs to be done, I will return to the capital to get married. On the other end of the phone, Michael spoke gently. Okay, I'll wait for you. If you encounter anything you can't solve, remember to tell me. After hanging up the phone, I called Eric's grandfather to say goodbye. Eric's grandfather and my grandfather were comrades in arms with a deep bond between them. When I was 8 years old, I was diagnosed with a serious heart condition. Eric's family-run private hospital happens to specialize in cardiology, making it quite authoritative. So my grandfather decided to send me to Eric's house to recover. Over the years, Eric's parents have treated me as their own, and Eric's grandfather has taken care of me in every possible way. I, am about to return to capital, and out of both sentiment and reason, I should bid them farewell. Eric didn't come home again that night. Emma sent me a message. Look at you with your mouth full. So cute. In the photo, Eric is bending down to eat cake while Emma extends a finger to smear cream on his face. But soon she retracted the message. I'm sorry, Lily. I just sent that to the wrong person. Eric said that photo is really cute and asked me to send it to him. You're not mad, are you? I didn't reply to her. Instead, I silently returned to my room and began packing my bags. The next day at noon, Eric finally returned home. He prepared a gift for me as an apology. Lily, Emma was in a serious condition last night. I just took her to the hospital. I didn't say a word. When I opened the brocade box, I found a Rolex women's watch inside. The strap was adorned with a circle of diamonds. Extraordinarily luxurious. But I remember he also gave Emma a similar gift. It's just that mine is a bit more expensive. Eric noticed my lack of reaction and asked with some concern. Lily, are you angry? I said softly. No, Emma is sick. It's only natural for you to go see her. Eric looked at me suspiciously, perhaps thinking my reaction was strange. But in the end, he just sighed. I'm glad you're not angry. After all, we still have a long way to go together. But Emma At this point, Eric's eyes turned slightly red. I couldn't be bothered to listen to him. In that case, spend more time with her. After dropping this line, I turned to leave, but Eric grabbed my wrist. The moment I raised my gaze, there was no emotion in my eyes. What's wrong? Eric felt somewhat irritable, yet he couldn't pinpoint the source of his agitation. But soon his phone rang again. He looked down a few times, then raised his head and said to me, "Lily, I have to go on a business trip for the next few days and won't be back for a while. You need to be careful at home." I casually hummed in response, thinking it would be better if he didn't come back so that tomorrow I could return to Eric's house to say goodbye to everyone. The next morning, I took the prepared gifts and went to Eric's house. Eric's mother turned red-eyed upon hearing that I was returning to Capital. "Lily, what happened? You were doing so well in Needham. Why are you suddenly going back?" Eric's father immediately slammed the table. "Where's Eric? Why didn't he come back with you? Did he bully you?" I hesitated for a moment, but in the end, I still didn't tell the truth. "No, it's just that I've been away from home for too long these years and I want to go back and take a look." Eric's mother looked at me, her expression filled with concern as she spoke. "Does Eric know about your decision to go back to avoid further trouble?" I nodded gently. "Yes, he knows." Hearing me say this, no one dared to persuade me further. After some casual conversation, I stood up, preparing to leave. Just at that moment, the door suddenly swung open and I came face to face with Eric standing next to him. Emma smiled at me and gently said, "Lily, what are you doing here?" she asked with righteous indignation, as if she had already become a daughter-in-law of the Chi family. "I don't seem to need to explain where I am to you." After dropping this line, I walked past Eric and headed for the door. Eric, coming back to his senses, immediately chased after me to explain. "Lily, don't misunderstand. I brought Emma home today so my parents could help her find a suitable doctor. Besides, she's your close friend, too. You wouldn't hold it against me, right?" I had a moment of distraction. What echoed in my mind was Eric's promise to me under the cherry blossom tree when he was 18. He said that marrying me was his lifelong wish. One day he would take me back to meet his parents as his future daughter-in-law. But now he brought another woman home and even lied to me saying he was going on a business trip. Looking at Eric's expectant eyes, I slowly spoke. "How could that be? I've never been a stingy person. I simply won't care about those who aren't worth it." Hearing me say this, Eric was taken aback. For a moment. "Lily, do you really not care at all? Think he's really too hard to please?" In the past, when Eric was close to Emma, I got angry and he said I was petty. Now that I don't inquire about anything between them, he's still not satisfied. But I don't want to explain, and there's nothing to explain. Later, Eric patted my forehead and said, "Be good and wait for me at home." After entering the elevator, I reached up to wipe my forehead clean. He made me feel nauseous. On our 10th anniversary, Eric also used a business trip as an excuse to brush me off. However, that night, I received a video call request from Emma. After the call connected, I listened to the lively atmosphere of the wedding scene. And only then did I realize that the wedding belonged to Eric and Emma. 3 months ago, Emma was diagnosed with a terminal illness. She posted on Instagram, "I hope to have a wedding with the person I love most before I die." At that time, I had not yet noticed the awkwardness between the two of them. I even asked her in the comments who her favorite person was. At that time, Emma replied to me, "You'll know when the time comes." The moment I learned the truth, my heart felt like it was being cut apart. The pain so intense that I could hardly breathe. I called Eric like a madwoman, wanting to ask him why he treated me this way. But that night, Eric didn't answer a single call. I cried myself into a faint at home while he was spending the wedding night with Emma. Fortunately, everything is about to come to an end. After returning home, I received a call from Emma. "Lily, I'm really sorry. I had no idea I would run into you today." I scoffed and didn't reply to her. Emma took a deep breath and said to me in an envious tone, "Eric's mother is really such a nice person. She is so gentle, asking me how I am and checking on me. They also said they would do their best to help me find a suitable doctor for my treatment." When she said this, she paused for a moment. Then she lowered her voice and asked Lily, "Tell me, why can't the person who marries into the Eric family be me?" Of course it could be her. as long as she has the ability. Then I wish you both 100 years of harmony in advance. Then I hung up the phone, wanting to block her directly. That way, she wouldn't pop up in front of me from time to time to show off her presence. At that moment, I accidentally clicked into Emma's Instagram and discovered that she had actually stolen my design drafts to enter a competition. I was so angry that my hands trembled a little, because that drawing was a birthday gift I had given to Eric. I didn't expect that he would hide it from me and send the draft to Emma. I stroked my racing heart, trying my best to calm myself down, and then took out my copyright registration certificate to report Emma's work as plagiarized on the competition website. After all this, my friend Nicole, who co-runs the studio with me, also called Lily. What happened? Why the sudden withdrawal of funds? Nicole is a mutual friend of Emma and me, but she had always had a poor relationship with Emma before, so I told her everything over the phone, including, of course, that I was about to get married. Nicole was furious after hearing this. This Emma is just too shameless, relying on her illness to casually steal other people's men. Who knows if she's just pretending? It's driving me crazy. I have to call her and give her a piece of my mind. Hearing Nicole's loyal words, I was quite moved. Forget it. I can't be bothered. The wedding is about to take place. At that moment, footsteps sounded behind me. Eric's voice suddenly broke through. Wedding? What wedding? I hung up the phone. When I turned to look at Eric, I noticed he seemed a bit nervous. Suddenly, I had a different thought. I just heard a gossip. There's a guy who behind his girlfriend's back held a wedding with another woman. A friend just said, that man is despicable, and it's pitiful for his girlfriend who still thinks she's his one true love. Who would have thought that? As soon as these words were spoken, Eric shouted out in great excitement. What? What is this all about? How do they know whether that man has his own reasons? What if that wedding is fake just to fulfill the dying wish of a terminally ill patient? Hearing his grandiose words, I suddenly found it somewhat laughable. 10 years of feelings all wasted on feeding the dogs. Perhaps sensing that something was off with my emotions, Eric stepped forward and hugged me. Lily, what's been going on with you lately? He held me tightly in his arms. We've been through so many years together. Don't you know how much I love you? Once we settle Emma's matters, let's get married, okay? As he spoke, his hand slowly slipped inside my shirt. But I turned my head away, pressing down on his restless hand. Sorry, I don't have any feelings. Eric's deep-set eyes gazed at me for a long time. Yet he couldn't discern anything from me in the end. He reluctantly let go of me and dropped a line. I'm going to sleep in the study. That night, I had just fallen asleep when I heard Eric hurriedly leaving the house. I turned over and continued to sleep. But the next morning, as soon as I opened the door, I saw Eric sitting in the living room. I raised my eyebrows slightly. So early? Eric didn't give me a good look. Instead, he confronted me head-on. Why do you have to report Emma for plagiarism? Do you have any idea how much of an impact this will have on her? I smiled, my expression frozen on my face. May I ask, was that design draft done by Emma herself? Did she not plagiarize? Eric was shocked to hear this. Lily, how did you become like this? Where did the kind you go? You have everything, countless awards for your work. What difference would it make to let her have a chance? Emma is now so angry that her condition has worsened. She's lying in the hospital on the brink of death. She just wanted to experience the feeling of winning an award before her life ends. Is that too much to ask? I was so angry that my fingers felt a bit numb. I immediately retorted. Of course it's not too much to ask, Eric. But you know how much I've sacrificed over the years to achieve my dreams, to practice my painting. My hands were covered in frostbite during the harsh winter, itching and hurting. How can you casually say that I should give my work to Emma? If she wants to experience the feeling of winning an award, she should work a little harder for it. What does it mean to take what I've earned? A man can be without. But if anyone dares to touch my design work, I will never let her go. Eric did not notice the changes in my body. He dropped a line, "You've changed," and then walked outside. I, infuriated, had a heart attack, suddenly collapsing to the ground, pleading in agony. Eric, save me? But he never looked back even once. After waking up, I found myself lying in the hospital. Michael held me tightly in his arms. Lily, we're going back to Capitol. This time, I slowly closed my eyes and said, okay. It turns out that a person can truly burn all their hopes to ashes in a single moment. Eric only discovered my sudden departure. On the third day, he called me frantically and I found it annoying, so I just blocked him. Why do you care so much about Emma, yet still keep me hanging? I curled up on the Italian handcrafted sofa, watching Michael have a high-end custom wedding dress delivered. Feeling dazzled, he gently wrapped his arm around my shoulder and asked softly, which style do you like? I carefully selected and finally settled on a strapless mermaid tulle dress. This one will do. I think it looks quite nice. Michael affectionately ruffled my hair and said, all right then, let's go with this one. After choosing the wedding dress, he went to discuss the specific details of the wedding day with the wedding planning company. In the past few days, Nicole told me that Eric went completely mad after he found out I was missing. He inquired everywhere about my whereabouts, but learned of my return to the capital from his own parents. Lily, what do you think his reaction would be if he found out about your marriage? I didn't have time to think much when I heard someone ringing the doorbell outside. I thought it was just the wedding staff Michael had sent over again. I stepped forward to open the door, only to be met by Eric's crimson eyes. The moment he saw me, his eyes were filled with disbelief. Lily, you're really here. Eric spoke with a slight choke in his voice. Why did you leave without saying a word? You must have done it on purpose to upset me, right? Come back with me and we'll get married right away. Seeing Eric pulling me, Michael rushed over. Eric, please stay away from my wife. Eric stumbled slightly, his voice trembling. What did you just say? Michael stood tall in front of me, blocking Eric's burning gaze. Eric, however, did not believe it. Lily, stop joking. After 10 years of our relationship, how could you just say it's over? Were all the promises we made over the years just lies? I really didn't want to get entangled with him any longer, so I immediately threw out my marriage certificate with Michael for him to see. Eric, I'm not lying to you. I really got married. He was somewhat taken aback, his shoulders drooping in deep hurt. Why? Why? Seeing Eric about to rush forward, Michael stepped up directly to block him immediately. With a cold face, he scolded, how can you still ask why? Don't you have any idea what you've been doing these days? Saying this, Michael pulled out a pile of photos from somewhere and threw them on the ground. You keep saying you love Lily, yet you secretly marry another woman. Is this what you call love? In the photo, Emma smiles with pure happiness, while Eric looks like a knight protecting his princess. Such a warm and harmonious scene pierced my eyes. Eric explained in a panic, Lily, it's not what you think. Emma and I are in a fake marriage, just like playing house. I'm just fulfilling a wish of hers before she passes. A tear slipped from the corner of my eye. Michael quickly reached out and gently wiped it away from me. I stepped forward and looked at Eric calmly. The wedding with her is fake. So what about all your affection for her? Is that also fake? Eric wearily closed his eyes. Emma is also your good friend. I was just putting on a show for her. I thought you wouldn't mind. I found it utterly sarcastic. Eric, do you really believe what you just said that day? You rushed out without hesitation. Did you ever think that I might get so angry I could have a heart attack and almost die at home? Eric's body trembled and he suddenly looked up. Lily, what did you say? I was tired and didn't want to say much to him. Eric, we're done. Eric's face darkened terrifyingly. His gaze fell on me, shifting from guilt to resentment in just 3 seconds. Immediately, he let out a cold laugh and spoke slowly. It doesn't matter even if you are married. It doesn't matter even if I have to tie you up. I will take you to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a divorce from him. After saying that, he pulled out a blank check from his pocket and tossed it onto Michael. Pretty boy, have you heard of the Chi family in Needham? Fill in the amount on, the check yourself and divorce my wife. Otherwise, you'll find out what happens when you cross me. I was so angered by Eric's rude behavior that I wanted to confront him, but Michael stopped me. Michael didn't care. Instead, he smiled faintly. Eric, is this how you win back your lover? It's really not impressive. This struck Eric like a dagger, and he erupted in anger. What the hell do you care? Do you have any idea that Lily and I have been childhood sweethearts? We've shared a whole decade together. Do you really think you stand a chance of stealing her from me? As long as I take her back and spend every day with her, she will definitely come back to me. Suddenly, Eric raised his fist toward Michael. I exclaimed, Eric, you're crazy! But before that fist could land, it was blocked by Michael with one hand. Lily, back up! Michael's cold face was tinged with anger. What do you take her for? Is she just something you can summon and dismiss at will? Eric had been working out for years and his body was covered in muscle. But now he was subdued by Michael, like a little chick with no power to resist. Immediately, Michael let out a cold laugh and the bodyguards in the room responded at once. He directly took the rope and tied Eric up tightly. Eric's veins bulged with anger. Bastard! Do you know who I am? How dare you treat me like this? After adjusting his cuffs, Michael spoke slowly. You are from the Needham Chi family. Why don't you go back and ask the old master of the Chi family if he has ever heard of the Gray family in the capital? Dropping this line, he raised his hand and Eric was carried out by a group of bodyguards, completely ignoring Eric's increasingly shocked expression. The Chi family lives in medical real estate. The Gray family's enterprises in the capital are spread across the country, their wealth far surpassing that of the Chi family. After doing all this, Michael turned to me and explained, Lily, don't get me wrong, I don't usually act like this. Looking at his serious yet slightly nervous expression, I smiled gently. I think your approach is quite good. Otherwise, with Eric's character, he would never give up easily. I'm already tired of this endless entanglement. That evening, Michael organized a dinner for our two families' elders to finalize the details of the wedding. This was also the first time I met Michael's mother. During the waiting process, I felt a bit nervous, my palm sweating. Michael held my hand tightly under the table and whispered reassuringly, Lily, don't be afraid. My parents really like you. After both sets of parents arrived, the atmosphere was relatively harmonious. When Michael's mother saw me for the first time, she couldn't stop smiling and even took out a brocade box to hand to me. Lily, I've always heard Michael talk about you, and today I finally get to meet the real you. You're even more beautiful than I imagined. Hearing this, I was taken aback for a moment. I met Michael at an art exhibition. At that time, he was the exhibitor, and I was the curator. We hit it off immediately, chatting happily, and it was only 2 months from our first meeting to deciding to get married. Will he often mention me in front of his family? Seeing me in a daze, Michael reminded me, open the brocade box and take a look. I guessed it might be a gift from eating either a watch or a bag. When the brocade box was opened, my mother sitting next to me gasped, This isn't it. The ancestral jade bracelet of the Michael family. In the brocade box, there lay a king's green ice jade bracelet. Previously, a financial journalist interviewed the Michael family and mentioned the ancestral jade bracelet, which is said to be worth 9 figures. I was taken aback and hurriedly handed the brocade box back. This is too precious. Michael's mother picked up the jade bracelet and directly helped me put it on my wrist. A gift for my future daughter-in-law. No matter the cost, it's not too precious, she said, then gently placed her hand on the back of mine. Because you deserve it. That day, when I followed my parents home, I unexpectedly saw Eric's father and mother at our house, my mom's side. At that time, your grandfather insisted on sending you to Needham, and the Eric family repeatedly promised to take good care of you. We all thought that you and Eric would be together in the end. We don't know what happened between you and Eric, but you have received favors from Eric's family over the years, so it wouldn't be right to turn him away. I also found it reasonable after hearing that. So I said to my mom, Mom, don't worry, I will handle this matter well. I personally brought 2 cups of tea into the study. When Eric's mother saw me, her eyes turned red. Lily, I heard you returned to the capital to get married. I sighed. Uncle, Aunt, I won't hide it from you any longer. Eric and I are done. Uncle Chief furrowed his brows in anger. Has this little brat done something to wrong you? Just watch me beat him to death. I remained silent, but Eric's mother sensed something was off. Is it because of that? Emma? I didn't say a word, but my attitude spoke volumes. Eric's mother, her face full of shame, said, Lily, We have treated you like our own daughter. I can't even face you after that. Brad, Eric did such a thing. In the years away from home, Eric's mother has given me a lot of care. So I certainly won't become estranged from her because of Eric. Aunt, no matter what, you are the people I respect the most. In fact, I can guess that they came to my house to try to win me back. But after understanding the ins and outs of this situation, the words to keep him from leaving still did not come out. After they left, Nicole sent me several messages in a row. Lily, you have to see the screenshot I sent you. That selfie is really crazy. After she heard that you were getting married, she actually posted a lot of derogatory comments about you on Instagram. It's simply infuriating. I opened the screenshot and the strong aroma of tea rushed to my nose. Some people act as innocent as a little white flower. But who knows? They haven't even broken up with their boyfriend and are already eager to get a marriage certificate with another man. Don't be so cheap, okay? The accompanying image was an old profile photo of me. Moreover, she also replied in the comments, "You don't know. Her husband is old and ugly. She only cares about his money." Nicole said to me, "This Emma is such a bitch. I couldn't take it anymore." And after arguing with her, I just blocked her. I am immersed in the joy of my upcoming wedding and have no desire to let someone like this affect my mood. So I comforted Nicole. Don't be angry. In 3 days, I will be getting married, and I'm waiting for you in the capital to be my bridesmaid. In the past few days, Michael has taken me around to shop and have fun, calling it a getaway to cultivate our feelings. Despite the conscious effort to distance myself from certain people and events from the past, the gossip about Emma still reached my ears through various mutual friends. After returning to Needham, Eric's father and mother did the first thing. They went to the hospital to request Emma's medical records. As a result, it didn't matter if you didn't want to look, because once you did, the truth was shocking. Eric's father keenly noticed that Emma's various test indicators were abnormal, showing signs of intervention. So they began to investigate step by step. In the end, it turned out that Emma didn't have any terminal illness at all. Her health was quite good before fainting, and feeling unwell was just a way to feign pity and attract Eric's attention. After Eric's mother learned of this, she had the security throw her and her belongings out of the hospital. Emma cried out in fear, desperately clutching the hospital doorframe and refusing to leave. Aunt, please don't kick me out. Don't send me away. If Eric finds out, he will definitely argue with you. Eric's mother was furious, raising her hand and slapping her. How dare you mention Eric? Get out of here right now. Keeping you in the hospital is a waste of medical resources. After being kicked out, Emma M. squatted in the hospital, crying and calling Eric. 5 minutes later, Eric arrived at the hospital. At first, Emma thought he had come to back her up and was considering telling him about her grievances. Who knew? Eric's face darkened as he directly reached out and tugged her hair back. What did you just say? You're not sick. You've been pretending to be ill to deceive me. Emma was so scared that she didn't dare to cry out. Gray D. She could only move her lips, pleading desperately. Eric, I did this all because I love you so much. And don't you like me a lot too? You said Lily is too outstanding, and when you're with her, you feel pressured. It's different when you're with me. You can be more relaxed and happier. But before she could finish her sentence, Eric threw her onto the floor. Who do you think you are? You want to compare yourself to Lily? 10 of you wouldn't even measure up to one of her fingers. But when Emma heard these words, a sorrowful smile appeared on her face. Eric, why won't you admit that you've already fallen in love with me? If you don't like me, why do you pay so much attention to me, taking care of me from time to time, and even standing up for me against those who bully me? Eric looked at her with a blank expression and cruelly spoke the truth. I take care of you because Lily told me that you are her good friend. I'm helping you just to put Lily's mind at ease. If it weren't for the fact that you're Lily's best friend, do you think I would even spare you a glance? Hearing this, Emma shook her head in disbelief. She screamed hysterically on the street. After Emma vented, she spoke to Eric in a tone that was almost boastful at this point. What good does it do to say how much you love her? On the day you held the wedding with me, I had already live-streamed the entire ceremony to Lily via video call. Can you guess how many calls she made to you that day? What do you think she felt when she heard the sounds of our wedding night? Eric became a complete madman after he pulled Emma into the car. He accelerated to the maximum speed, aiming to crash into the riverbank without Lily. Let's die together. The car crashed wildly, making Emma scream in terror. When Eric's supercar was stopped by the traffic police, Emma was so scared that she fainted, her body going limp. It was the third day after this incident, the day before the wedding, when I received a call from Eric. After a few days of not seeing him, his voice was hoarse to the point of being unrecognizable. When I heard the name Lily again, it felt as if I were in a different world. Lily, on your wedding day, can I attend? If you can't marry me, I want to see with my own eyes what you look like when you get married. Before the words of refusal could leave my lips, someone snatched the phone away. I don't know when Michael appeared behind me to answer. Of course you're welcome. I'll have to personally toast you then. Eric gritted his teeth on the other end of the phone. Give the phone back to Lily. I want to talk to her. What does it have to do with you? Michael raised an eyebrow slightly. We are, one as a couple. What I say and what she says are the same. Eric hung up the phone in anger. Then Michael handed the phone back to me. He reined in the hostility that surrounded him, his brows and eyes softening as he looked down at me. Lily, you weren't angry just now, were you? I chuckled lightly in response. Of course not. You handled it well, saving me a lot of trouble. He let out a breath of relief a bit nervously. That's good. I was afraid you might be upset, but actually, I'm a bit worried because I know Eric. He has never been someone who gives up easily. Michael, do we really have to invite Eric to our wedding? I'm worried he might cause a scene at the ceremony. He didn't care at all. Lily, don't worry. With me here, he won't be able to cause any trouble. Michael was never someone who could be easily bullied. I've seen him handle work with a decisive and vigorous demeanor. But now he's willing to treat me with such patience and care. I stepped forward and gently embraced him. Michael's body stiffened slightly. Michael, thank you. This sentence contained too many emotions. Thank you for supporting and accepting me like this. Also, thank you for giving me immense dignity when I was deeply wounded by emotions. Michael's large hand gently rested on my head. Between you and me, there's no need for thanks. On the day of the wedding, the guests filled the seats. I was in the hotel dressing room, incredibly nervous. During this time, Michael came in several times, bringing me a lot of milk, tea, and food. Nicole couldn't help but feel envious. She joked, "Oh, the groom is trying to fatten up our bride." Michael looked at me with a doting expression. Today will be tough. Eat a little more. At the wedding venue, everywhere was adorned with dazzling flame orchids shining brilliantly. I wore a high-fashion sheer gown and slowly made my entrance to the beautiful music. Now there was a burst of cheers. My parents sent me off to marriage with tears in their eyes. It takes only a minute to walk from the entrance to the center of the venue. But I walked from the wrong relationship to the right lever, taking a full 10 years. 10 years felt like a lifetime apart. With deep affection in his eyes, Michael slowly stepped forward and knelt on one knee. Lily, will you marry me? When that enormous diamond ring appeared before my eyes, a wave of emotion surged in my heart. I covered my lips and slowly nodded. Immediately after, we exchanged rings and embraced each other in a kiss. All in one breath, Michael spent a fortune to secure the billboard in the very center of the city. He wanted to loop the video of our wedding ceremony. On it, he said he wanted everyone to see my happiness and to wish me happiness. But Eric, who said he would come to the wedding, did not appear. It was only after the guests had all left that I saw Eric cornered and restrained by two bodyguards. His hands and feet were bound, and even his mouth was stuffed with rags. Naturally, he could make no sound. Michael stepped forward and pulled the cloth strip from his mouth. Eric's eyes turned red with anger. Is this your way of hosting guests? Michael maintained his expression, politely speaking. I apologize for the lack of greeting, Mr. Eric. Please do not take offense. M. Eric looked at me with a face full of reluctance. He spoke almost pleadingly. Lily. I simply nodded at him lightly. Thank you, Mr. Eric, for gracing our wedding with your presence. Please be sure to send us an invitation when you get married. We, the couple, will definitely attend together. Upon hearing the words, the couple, Michael raised an eyebrow slightly, a hint of an unintentional smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. In the end, Eric was defeated. He looked at Michael's face. You did this on purpose. You want me to see Lily marry you with my own eyes. You want me to be completely heartbroken? You're just a scheming bastard. Michael did not deny it and even shamelessly replied, Thank you for the compliment. Eric had probably never encountered someone like this before, so infuriating that he had lost his temper. Finally, he collapsed on the ground in despair. Lily, do you know that I had prepared so many things? I swear I was going to win you back at this wedding. But as I watched you walk toward him, your face full of shyness, my throat felt like it had swallowed countless blades. It's hard to breathe. I listened, showing no expression. Oh, normal. I felt the same way when I knew you were having a wedding with Emma. The light in Eric's eyes completely faded away. Michael's scheme had succeeded. I knew that from this point on, Eric and I would truly have nothing to do with each other. On the night of our wedding, I sat nervously on the bed in the bathroom. The water flowed with a splashing sound, slowly reaching my eardrums. Before long, Michael stepped out, bringing with him the damp mist and his exquisite waist and abdomen. I instinctively swallowed. Michael stepped forward, leaned down, and softly asked in my ear, Do you like it? That night, I experienced ultimate joy. The next day, when I woke up, my whole body ached, and I had shouted so much that my voice was hoarse. But I needed to quickly get myself in order, because tonight, I would be going with Michael to his friend's banquet. I chose a champagne-colored strapless dress. When I appeared in front of everyone on Michael's arm, it caused quite a stir. After Michael settled me in, he got up to greet his friends. The man closest to Michael was the second son of the Green family who started with antiques. As soon as he saw me, he came over to tease. So, you are the Miss Lily that our young master Michael has been thinking about day and night. I greeted him with a smile. Young Master Green, I've long admired your name. Green raised his wineglass and chuckled lightly. You have no idea. Ever since he saw you once when he was a child, he would occasionally bring you up in front of us guys. Later, when you became a painter, he quietly supported you with a huge sum to hold your art exhibition. And then he bought all your paintings. One could say he was utterly infatuated. Not just that. Young Master Michael Gray even opened a branch office in Needham just for you. Hearing them say this, the doubts I had before suddenly seemed to be explained. Why was Michael able to rush over and take me for treatment right after I had a heart attack at home? It turns out that my fate with him was already established in childhood. Michael came back and asked me, What are you thinking about? You look so focused. I turned my head and smiled at him. I was just thinking, how did I get to know you when we were kids? I don't have any memory of it at all. Michael gently wrapped his arm around my waist. Mysteriously, he said, Many, many years ago, there was a crybaby who always ran alone to cry under the cherry blossom tree. I was practicing the piano upstairs at that time and I got annoyed by the noise. So I thought I would go downstairs to see who could cry for so long. I didn't expect to run into you. As soon as he said that, I instantly remembered. You're the big brother who comforted me. I used to be isolated by my friends due to my health issues. So I would go cry under a cherry blossom tree. I didn't expect to meet such a kind big brother. He would listen to me talk about my worries, and I would bring him delicious pastries and fresh flowers. We once had a wonderful time. Oh, my. After so many years, Michael has grown to be so stunningly attractive. After seeing the surprised expression on my face, Michael gently ruffled my hair. I watched you at the beginning, not getting used to the sea city, but gradually becoming happy. Even ending up with Eric at that time, I was extremely upset. Yet I thought as long as you were happy, everything would be fine. But later I realized that you were not happy by his side. Still, I wanted you to be happy. So I silently supported your career and helped you overcome all obstacles. Speaking of which, Michael let out a bitter laugh. But human desires are infinitely magnified in the end. Seeing Eric not cherish you like he should, I wanted to keep you by my side. Let me love you properly. My heart trembled slightly. After Eric returned to the city, he fell into a state of despair. day and night, hardly caring about business matters. His father was furious, picked up his cane and struck him several times, resulting in Eric being sent straight to the hospital. Emma had been missing for a while. No one knew her whereabouts. Nicole said that someone had seen her picking up scrap in the southern part of the city. She was completely disoriented, acting crazily. Later, one night, Nicole called me Lily. Do you know, a few days ago, I ran into Emma. When I heard that name again, I felt little emotion. That was someone who had long been far removed from my life. Say, she really is in a terrible state. Now Emma can't even recognize anyone, and she's still mumbling about wanting to marry a rich second-generation heir and become a wealthy lady. Some homeless man on the street noticed that she was quite attractive and began to have improper thoughts as a result. After a few encounters, she became even more deranged. And now she's even over 3 months pregnant. I have no sympathy for this. We are all adults now. The path we choose to take is entirely up to us. Once, I also gave my all to help her, but what I received in return was betrayal. After hanging up the phone, Michael brought me a late-night snack. Wife, don't tire yourself out. Come have some coconut sago. Take a break. I looked up and saw Michael's handsome face. A wave of satisfaction washed over me. Outside the window, countless lights are shining inside the room. My beloved is by my side. As I rested my head on Michael's shoulder, the city lights flickering beyond the window, I finally understood. After all the pain, I had found peace, not perfection, not fairy tales, just a quiet, steady love that never let go. And that was more than enough.